In this lesson, we are going to learn about objects in our world. The two objects you are looking at on this page are called prisms. Prisms are spelt like this. On the left side, we have a rectangular prism, and on the right-hand side, we have a triangular prism. This is called a triangular prism because the two ends here are triangles. And this is called a rectangular prism because these two ends are squares, which are also rectangles. Every square is a rectangle. Any side of a three-dimensional object like this we call a face. So this triangular prism has 5 faces, while the rectangular prism has 6 faces. Each of the prisms also has a special face that is called a base, and we'll call these ends the base. So a prism is named by the shape of its base. The rectangular prism has a rectangle, so that's why it's called a rectangular prism. The triangular prism has a triangle, and that's why it's called a triangular prism. Here we see a variety of three-dimensional objects. By three-dimensional we mean that they are not flat shapes that sit on a piece of paper, but they are objects that are three-dimensional. They stick up off the page. We can sort these different shapes or three-dimensional objects using different attributes, like the types of bases they have. These three objects over here can be sorted together because they all have square bases. And these two objects on this side can be sorted together because, as you guessed it, they have triangular bases. And the one object that's left out at the bottom, this one over here, is called a cone. So here we have a rectangular prism. Here we have a rectangular prism. This is a special rectangular prism called a cube. This is a rectangular pyramid because the base of the pyramid is a rectangle or a square. We can also call it a square base pyramid. Here we have a triangular prism. Here we have a triangular pyramid because the base is a triangle. And of course here we have a cone. And our cone here does not fit with any of these two groups that we circled because the cone does not have a square base like these ones over here do, and it does not have a triangular base like these two shapes over here do. Of course, it has a circular base. Can you think of what these two objects have in common that the other 4 objects on this side of the screen don't? You can pause the video to think about it for a moment. These two objects that were just circled have congruent faces. And congruent faces means that all the faces are exactly the same shape and the same size. And if you were to take a ruler and measure the sides, you would notice that this square has 6 equal faces, congruent faces, and this triangular pyramid has 3 congruent faces. I'm sorry, my mistake. This triangular prism has 4 congruent faces, and this cube has 6 congruent faces. These other 4 objects over here, they do not have all faces that are congruent. They might have a couple, but they have faces that are different. So thank you for watching. Feel free to go back and watch again and ask your teacher if you have any questions. Have fun with your math.